going on?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. All right, so it's just you, Jay. Oh, hey,
It's me and Andrew here.
Andrew. All right, what's going on, man? All right, so just turn off the video just to get a better connection.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right, cool. So where are you guys calling from?
We're in my house right currently.
You guys you live in New York or?
Yeah, we all live in New York.
Oh, really? Cool. So have you guys lived in New York City your whole life or?
Yeah, all of us. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so if you guys ready, we'll get started.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Awesome. So you guys, I'm here, Dan from Behind the Barricade, talking with Fallen Prodigy. What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Just hanging out. Thanks for having us.
No problem. So let's just let's get into it. So you guys are from New York City. What describe your music to people that have never heard you before?
I mean, to be honest, we kind of like take influence from a lot of bands, no matter the genre.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the best for our EP would be like My Valentine, those kind of bands.
Mm-hmm.
Our newer stuff, we're kind of going towards like Veil of Maya era, kind of changing our sound, getting a little heavier. Yeah, that's basically what.
Yeah, I would say like when I listened to it, I kind of there was a bunch of influences in it, but I heard a little bit of Azalea Dying. I heard a little bit of I would say like the screams kind of reminded me a little bit of like Asking Alexandria and Skeleton Witch mixed in there, but it was kind of cool to hear you go from that like that screaming style. It was like it's two different, that really high pitched Skeleton Witch type vocals, and then you go into Asking Alexandria, which I guess would be a little bit heavier sounding. But I don't know. I definitely digged your music a lot. That's probably like one of my favorite styles is that melodic metal with I guess a lot of bands they throw chugs and breakdowns, but just that kind of Shadows of Security like Azalea Dying type riffs. I definitely heard a little bit from the one music video I listened to, so it was pretty good.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we try to like really incorporate a lot of things. We don't. As of right now, we're not sticking to like one specific hardcore sound.
So you're not sticking to like any specific style.
Yeah, I would say like I don't even think we've been a band long enough to really like have a concrete sound at this point. I think we're just trying to find it. And I just think that we're trying to appeal to a lot of people. We don't want to just be one genre. We want to appeal to more than one genre. So that's our main goal when we're writing the new album.
So you guys are in that like you're kind of still feeling your music out essentially.
Yeah, we're still kind of as far as how we sound, still kind of floating. We're still trying to figure out what we can really say how we sound. Because we're also writing music to attract everybody as opposed to.
So do you think after like maybe a couple albums or you get that under your belt, you think you'll kind of make kind of like a certain style your own? Or because I know with for instance Killswitch Engage, they said that really after I would say maybe was it Alive, maybe after Alive or Just Breathing, that was the first one, but after the second album As Daylight Dies, after that they kind of said that they found their sound. And clearly you can tell because the older stuff, Killswitch Engage and then Alive or Just Breathing, it was more heavier. And then they kind of got into more melodic. And now they're like, they have some heavy music, of course, on a lot of their albums nowadays. But it follows more of, that melodic, mainstream, verse, chorus. The chorus is obviously melodic. And so they said after like an album or two, it kind of, they found their sound. You think you're going to kind of do something like that?
Yeah, I can say I would agree with that. Because, like I said, I mean, we're actually like we're just really pushing ourselves at this point. We're gonna push ourselves so we can't, or so we think we can anymore. We're trying to really develop our sound and our abilities to, our best, and that's definitely not gonna come out next album or the album after. I think it's gonna be, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear that we pushed ourselves in this album and then the next and the next. That's basically our goal. We really want to, you know, pretty much push ourselves to the best of our abilities,
Hmm.
and that's when we find our sound, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but otherwise, right now we're just, we're just writing, from our hearts, basically, if you want to be that cliche. But
Hmm.
we're just saying what comes to mind. We're no matter the genre, we're working on it. We'll put it out there. However, each song that we do have has our own twist in it, which I feel is that thrashy
Hmm.
kind of feel.
Hmm.
Things straightforward, chugging, nothing's like that. There's always going to be that thrashy twist in it.
Hmm.
Um, that's going to be our sound, core sound, but definitely,
You will hear other elements as well.
Hmm.
Won't be a whole album of like the same elements over and over again each consecutive song.
Hmm.
This time around, we're really trying to have each and every song have its own sound, have its own twist, each have its own respective dynamic to keep the listener, and um, hopefully it becomes something. Hopefully, it's a tactic we do musically that works out for us.
Hmm. Yeah, and do you feel like I don't know what your background is in music? Do you feel like you'd add anything that's not metal in your music? For instance, there's I don't know if you ever heard of them before, but there's this band called Ankla. They kind of add like in the beginning of their song, add like a little like I don't know if it's like salsa or something, but they add kind of like a little bit of definitely out of left field like style in the beginning of their song and like towards the middle. Would you kind of add anything like that? Do you have any background in other styles of music other than just like metal?
Absolutely. Actually, Andrew and I, we didn't start in the metal scene.
Hmm.
I didn't experiment with vocals till I was already, I don't know, in college, my first year of college. Um, so I definitely grew up with hip hop, rap, and R&B, things like that. But I definitely, even for this album, which I definitely have ideas already,
Hmm.
which incorporate like stuff from different like rap albums that I've listened to.
Hmm.
Um, if it's not like it's not gonna be like lyrical content, but just like musically.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely influenced by a ton of genres. I'm definitely not just straight metal at all.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I started playing the guitar back in 2008, which was about 8 years ago, right? Yeah. So, uh, I started out listening to AC/DC, and then it progressed to Iron Maiden, Metallica, System of a Down, and little by little, I just started exploring bands more. I went through a really, really long phase of listening to virtuoso guitar players, such as Buckethead, Jeff Loomis, Paul Gilbert, Andy James, guitar players of that nature. And then I started listening to more heavier stuff. Started listening to As I Lay Dying. Friend of mine got me into Falling in Reverse, and it just progressed from there.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. It was kind of when I started out, it was everything on like K Rock. So it was Offspring, it was Breaking Benjamin, Nirvana. So I would kind of listen to that, and I was. It's funny, you have people that have this mindset in high school. It was like, when you hear a metal song with screaming, it's not music. Like, that's not music. It's crap. And I kind of was like under that impression too. I'm like, this does not sound good. I don't like it at all. And then slowly but surely, I was playing. I think it was Need for Speed Most Wanted. They had that Avenged Sevenfold in there, and I think they had a Bullet for My Valentine song. And it's actually one of their heaviest songs, and I was like, this song's pretty good. I like that chorus. It's very melodic because that's for me that really kind of connects to me with songs first is when I hear like a melodic chorus. It could be like I could hate the music. I could the guitar riff's kind of boring, and then if I hear that melodic chorus, it just hits me. But so I kind of heard that, and I listened to it, and then I discovered All That Remains, 2 weeks, and then obviously it got heavier from there. Their songs, it was like more of their popular stuff, but it's just funny how you grow and progress from songs, and it's just like perfect. You start with like those lower metal bands, or like you said, the classical kind of rock, and then you just progress into heavy stuff with screaming and breakdowns and stuff. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's funny you say that because I was into like really into like the Chili Peppers and System of a Down, and then I found Avenged Sevenfold. And, like, those like weird channels on your cable box that just like play music, yeah. And I found them on that, and I fell in love with them. And then eventually I got into All That Remains, and that's actually the band that like kind of pushed me over the line. I was like, wow, this is like ridiculous. And I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't even the vocals that caught me; it was the guitar work.
Yeah.
So I really like love. I love Ollie. Like he's just like I always have. But then I didn't get into vocals till I was already like in college. That I really like. I was like, damn, I really want to do that. I was a guitar player beforehand. But then, I've been pushed by so many people to like, they were like, dude, just do vocals because you have what it takes. And I tried it, and I haven't looked back since. So I made the right choice.
So how did that start with you? Did you start with like melodic vocals and progress into screaming, or did you do the opposite like a lot of people do? They just get up there and scream, and then figure you can learn to sing, and then it just progressed from there. How did that work for you?
I mean, I've always liked singing. I just I guess I never took it like seriously.
Just in the shower.
Yeah, in the shower, I'd sing some songs, in my room, in the comfort of my room. And it wasn't always like metal. It was like salsa or anything that I like to sing as long as it sounded good. And then it definitely went from singing to screaming, but it was like a whole new monster when I started screaming. I blew out my vocal cords, which was cool. I didn't know the technique. I had to do tons of research to really figure it out because I didn't want to damage my vocal cords. I did want to scream, but I didn't want to lose my singing voice either. So that's kind of what kept me from like blowing out my vocal cords from time to time. I'm like, I can't keep doing this, or I'm not going to be able to do anything.
So where did you find that advice? Did you just use the internet and books and stuff for that, or?
Yeah, I'd like watched tons and tons of videos. Like I can't even like describe how many videos I went through, and it wasn't even like one specific video that gave me like the technique that worked for me. It was like, okay,
a whole bunch.
Yeah, here's everything I've gathered, and this is what I'm gonna try, and eventually something's gonna work, and that's basically what happened.
Yeah, that's the same thing happened with me playing the guitar. Like I didn't like watch like specific videos to get better. Like it was just me going through countless videos of like a bazillion different people teaching a bazillion different things, and then over time, I kind of like took whatever information, I kind of just used it to my playing, and it worked after a while, and I was able to, develop the musical backbone, to write riffs and write solos and leads and all of that. And now it's when you're able to study your instrument and kind of like know how it works and like play it and learn it, it becomes very enjoyable when it comes to writing music.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started playing guitar, and this is kind of funny because when you think about like kids out there that kind of they get not that they get forced, but they just pick up like an instrument not because they really want to and they really love music, and their parents maybe force them to do it. It's different where like for me, since I played drums for years before picking up guitar, and I picked up like a this crappy acoustic I had and would start playing. I'm like, man, and my wrists are killing me, and I can't do this. This is really difficult. Most people after that, they just be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm quitting. But I just wanted to learn all like the riffs that I hear. I'm like, that All That Remains riff, that sounds sick. I want to play that in guitar, and that kind of like pushed me to continue practicing and playing. I mean, I'm no guitar player by any means, but just being able to like put on your favorite song and play. And a lot of the stuff that I listen to, like Breaking Benjamin, for instance, you don't have to play everything, the suspended chords and stuff like that. You can just basically play almost the whole song with just like 3 power chords. So kind of learning that helped me out too. It was like you don't have to play it word for word or note for note. As long as you're kind of playing similar to it, you can play through a guitar. But obviously for you that wasn't the case, that you actually pushed through it. So did you like fell in love with music and you started with guitar, or did that like kind of be in the reverse? You just started guitar to pick up an instrument and then found music after that?
Well, before I picked up the guitar, I wasn't really listening to metal or rock. I was just kind of listening to whatever it is that I just heard and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I started coming across more rock bands and guitar at the time when I first picked up the guitar, real guitar. Guitar Hero was like one of the most popular things out.
Yeah.
I was finding cool music through that, and I just picked up the guitar, and I had no direction on how to learn because it was like I didn't have music classes to go to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of on my own. So my only solution at the time was basically just to go on YouTube and just learn through there, which it was a little bit impractical at first, but then after a while, I started finding the right sources, and then I eventually got myself into music classes in school, and it just kind of built up from there. A lot the thing is with a lot of people who want to progress and become great at the instrument is that they are too quick to be motivated. You have to when you want to be at the top end, you want to be really experienced, be able to play, super clean, super tasty, super fast, or whichever style or way you want to play. You have to really the best way to do it is to watch other guitar players play. Mm-hmm. Whether they can play cleaner than you, faster than you, or know more music theory than you, you have to watch them play and just kind of take it as like information. You take it as taking information and use that. One thing I see with a lot of kids who pick up the guitar, especially kids who pick up the guitar for the first time, is they always get discouraged.
Yeah.
They see other guitar players play and they just lose their minds and they just discouraged and they just don't want to play anymore. And you don't want to do that. You want to take that as a lesson. Learn from it. This you see this person going crazy on the guitar. Want to reach that level, you got to put in the work. Use it as motivation.
Yeah, I mean the problem is nowadays with everybody, even the the younger generation, is everybody wants like instant gratification. They want it right away, and with guitar and especially drums is very physical. They're both just like working out. Like you got to do a couple of days a week, or you got to listen to a lot of music to get it, and you just really have to push through it. And it's a lot more difficult than just, oh, I see this guy playing, it looks so easy, let me try doing it, and that's when people get discouraged.
Yeah. With me, the thing with me was that I was just so curious about that. That was the thing that kind of like made me keep doing it, I guess you can say, because like a lot of friends and like seeing other guitar players play, like I remember seeing Eddie Van Halen play. When he was playing this little guitar solo called Eruption, like when I seen that for the first time, like it just blew my mind, and I thought to myself, wow, I really want to play that. I want to take this guitar and make it sound like that. That sounded really cool, with me, it was more where, with me personally, it was more of the fact that I just had a lot of time in my hands, and just the fact that I was just so fascinated by the guitar, like what you can do with it, as to why I was able to reach up to the level I'm up to now. For some people, it's different. Some people, they don't have as much time as I did when I first started. Some people, they were busy with other things. Some people, they see other guitar players play and they kind of feel discouraged. But my best advice for people who deal with that kind of stuff is, don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Learning the guitar takes time, just like everything else you learn in life. Everything takes time, and then after a while, if you keep practicing, and
you'll surprise yourself, basically.
Yeah, you'll surprise yourself.
Now, did you guys take lessons at all, or have you taken lessons in the past?
Well, when I took lessons when I was 7, I took guitar lessons. And I hated it.
Yeah.
So I stopped, and then I stopped playing for years, and then I picked up a guitar again when I was like 14. and then but that's when I had like, gotten into like metal, like all that remains and stuff. And again, like you hear it and you want to play it, and it's just like that's what really like motivated me to start playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had any like lessons for like no, not at all. Not especially for vocals. I've never had lessons ever.
Yeah.
Um, it was just a trial and error thing.
Mm-hmm.
Painful error, but error nonetheless. Um, yeah, I've never had any like formal lessons for anything really.
Yeah.
I had music lessons when I was in high school for a couple years. My music teacher, he was like he taught us like punk rock songs, like Sex Pistols and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to do like open note chords and like power chords, like basic, the basic things that people should learn on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I didn't have any lessons of any sort. After that, I was basically on my own. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's you guys are a perfect example of how lucky we are nowadays to you can basically just go get a video or you can rent something or go on YouTube and watch everybody and there's a whole bunch of lessons and we basically have all these tools to slow down and replay and learn all this stuff. I wouldn't say you really don't need a teacher, but because for me it was kind of like I feel like in the beginning you I don't know if you do need one. I guess it's both the same for both instances, but I feel like in the beginning you should kind of like learn on your own and practice and try playing your favorite songs or look up tabs. And then if you really, really get into guitar and you really want to progress further, I think taking lessons can take you definitely to the next level. Because when you're with someone that's like able to like watch you and dissect what you're doing and show you like different tips, like you should be using your pinky there instead of your ring finger or vice versa. And it's just really cool to have them look at you and critique you. But still, I mean, nowadays, as long as you put in the time, like you said, and you do your research and have the resources, you'll definitely be able to do it by yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started out when I first started playing the guitar. It was before I had guitar lessons, like when I was in high school, and like I started out like trying to learn how to tap before I learned how to play power chords.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like kind of like I had no idea what I was just trying to play whatever it is I wanted to play. But I mean, music lessons definitely help. They definitely help you put you in the right direction, and depending on who your teacher is,
Yeah.
you for whatever amount of time you have lessons with that person who's teaching you, chances are you'll leave there, with some kind of level of discipline. And by that I mean like, knowing how to, learn your music and learn how to play melodically and so forth. Just have that clarity as a musician.
I always tell people, I'm like, if you have the chance to take lessons, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I learned on my own, and I can play like certain songs. I'm not a half bad guitar player. For learning on my own. But I always say, like, yeah, if you have the chance to take lessons, do it. Because yeah, maybe you're fascinated looking at me or looking at Andrew play,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool because we're self-taught musicians. But I'm completely fascinated by someone that you can just put a piece of paper in front of their face and they can play a whole song for the first time, like they've been practicing their whole,
Yeah.
that fascinates me, and I feel like that if you can do that, you can like do anything.
Yeah, I mean that takes a lot. Definitely sight reading. Um, I mean, when I played for like snare drum, that was pretty easy. But when you're looking at drums and you got two lines for double bass and you got lines for all this other stuff, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, I mean it's easy once you get the hang of it and you do it for years. But it is crazy when you see someone like they put a sheet in front of them. They're like, all right, a band, let's take it from the top and they start playing it almost I would say perfectly, but from the naked eye or from someone who's never heard the song before, they're not like musicians, they'd almost like not notice a mistake. It's crazy when people do that.
Yeah, I was in marching band in high school. I played played the snare drum, and I had no idea how to read music, and it was a really like I already knew how to play. I had the chops for it. That's it was like the movie Drumline. He had the chops, but he needed to learn how to read music if he wanted to stay. And that was a real wake up call for me. That was like, all right, you can play, yeah, you're great, but can you read this? And they put that paper in front of me, and I was like, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Automatically, although I was the best snare player, you could say, or I was, people held me like on this level that I was the best snare player, but I was, the most experienced. I had been playing since I was like 10 at that, by the time I got to high school. And automatically I was behind everyone else. As soon as they put that paper in front of me, I was the most experienced, but now I'm behind everyone else because I music in front of me.
Yeah, I mean that's just one part of it. The reading music is. I would say if you got the chops, I mean, for learning music and reading music, I mean for me it was kind of like from day one, starting in elementary school, they start teaching you how to read stuff. So I mean, at least if you have one or the other, at least you have it. I mean, you just got to kind of learn. It's like learning a new language, also kind of a little bit easier, I would say, than a language. But I mean, as long as you have one side of it.
Yeah, my chops definitely got me by, but again, it was just like a real wake.
All right, so let's turn to a little bit kind of like in a different section. What big openers have you guys opened for? Any bands in New York City? Any like any of the bands you listen to? If you played any big shows like that, or
I mean I would say the biggest name band that we've played with so far would be Nothing More.
Nothing More. Wow.
Yeah, Nothing More. That show was actually a really funny case.
Yeah, we the venue called us like 3 hours before the show.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, "Oh my god, we need a band, right away." It was, I believe, it was actually their showcase for a label. And they're like, "We need an opener ASAP." So I'm scrambling. I'm at work and I'm scrambling trying to call the guys. Like, "Oh my god!" And we ended up making it and playing that show, which ended up being a great turnout. Other big names like, we played with I Set to Kill, Monuments, Polyphia. I'm trying to think. We played so many shows, it's like you kind of lose them after a while.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, dude, Nothing More is they're pretty huge on Octane. I wouldn't know outside of that, but they get played like crazy on Octane. What now you said it was a label showcase. Was that before they were signed, or?
I'm not even too sure if they were signed at that point. I was told that it was a showcase for them, and they needed an opener for that day.
Yeah, we had no idea what to expect because like Jay had hit me and the rest of the guys up, and she was like, "Oh my God, we got offered to play at Webster Hall. Let's go do it
now."
Yeah.
And then like we didn't know what to expect because we made it to the venue and like there was nobody there. We just walked inside and we saw Nothing More doing like sound check. We didn't know who they were. And then like the venue, we were setting up our stuff and we were all in the back. And then just out of nowhere, when we walked out on the stage, like the place was almost packed out already.
That's awesome.
And we played, and the crowd loved us, and it was a really great experience. And then Nothing More played, and the crowd. By the time Nothing More started playing, everybody was just having a good time. The vocalist, Johnny, he actually gave us free CDs.
Nice.
They were all really like cool guys, and that's always refreshing when you meet like super big band,
And they're not dicks.
Yeah, it's always refreshing to have like genuinely nice people that are not stuck on their high throne. It's definitely refreshing. So that was definitely a good experience for us. So we can thank them for that because that was a really good experience.
Yeah, I mean it's a big band. Webster Hall's insanely popular. I mean, me and John have done a bunch of interviews there. But it's funny with metal and hard rock musicians. I don't really to be honest, I think it's like a little bit hard to find, popular bands nowadays for hard rock and metal that the musicians are dicks. I mean, I would say a lot of them they seem mad cool. I've met a handful of bands and I've seen them, and you can kind of just tell, like, maybe they have like a side to them, or maybe they're gonna have a bad day once in a while, but they just seem genuinely nice and awesome. And I would say mostly it's because they're doing what they love, and maybe you'll get some certain bands like Puddle of Mud or something where, maybe they're doing it for a different reason. But I would say most members of our bands that we listen to, they're generally awesome people.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. We haven't had a bad experience. I'm grateful for that. Every show we've played, every band we've met, it's always been a great time.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been like any grudges or anything like that. It's just we go, we all play, we have a good time, and we take each other's information and we go on our way. And
Mm-hmm.
In the future, if we have a show offer, we throw them to each other. That's basically it, and that's great to me. I feel like that should be the case all the time.
Yeah.
Be helping each other out all the time because
Mm-hmm.
we're all from the same. We all came from the same place, and it's just we're all working hard. So we should always try to help each other out, for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, so just got a couple minutes left. Now, you guys said you were working on a new album. Do you have any like timetable when that's going to be out, or?
Um, right now, it's looking like it's going to come out at the end of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
No specific date yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're still in the process of getting everything done. But we have a few things that we're going to be releasing. So
this time around, it's going to be a lot more crazier because when we recorded the Passengers EP, it was so much easier because the songs we had in the Passengers EP was not that it was like it was more simplistic and it was easier for us to get down.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote all the guitar solos for that EP all in one day, like with no problem. It was a little bit tough, but I was able to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
But time around, we're having twice the amount of songs we have to record, and
it's just we've really like pushed ourselves.
Yeah, it's we pushed ourselves this time around. Where it's gonna be more technical, more heavy, and a more tighter schedule. Because this time around, all of us work, and some of us go to school as well. So it's gonna be a very difficult task, but we're gonna do everything we can to make sure the album comes out great and make sure that our people who support us will hear it and love it. And as long as we stick to that agenda, I'm pretty sure things will definitely come up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looking forward to hearing that, and it's cool to see you guys are progressing and trying to write more technical music and just kind of trying to push yourselves. Do you guys have any shows coming up?
Not at the moment.
Mm-hmm. So just focusing on like writing and recording and stuff.
Yeah, we made that decision not so long ago. We've been getting show offers left and right. And, it sucks because we love to play shows, but we ultimately we have to turn them down because we're so focused on writing, and we have to go to the studio and we have to perfect everything, get releases ready, and merch and everything. It's better if we just focus on ourselves for now and then come back when we're ready and just blow up and have a huge show for our album release.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more realistic versus playing on the shows while we're trying to like perfect our album.
Yeah. So all right. So not rolling out any upcoming shows, but probably look forward to seeing you guys in 2017. And last to end off the episode, two things. Let people know where they could find you: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Just let them know where to find you.
We're on Facebook. Definitely the Fallen Prodigy. Just look it up on Facebook. From there, you can find our Instagram, our Bandcamp. Everything is on there. We're on YouTube as well. Just look up Fallen Prodigy will come up right away. So we're pretty much on everything: iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Google Play. Everything's out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what was the name of that EP that people could find on those?
Our EP, Passengers.
Passengers.
Yeah, it came out in 2015, and then we have our new song, Regret. is up on everything as well: Spotify, YouTube, iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
That's off our new album. So that's pretty much what to look forward to in terms of technicality, but not sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I know I saw on YouTube you guys got a couple covers. You got some guitar solos. You got your music video. So if everyone wants to hear more, I would definitely highly suggest everyone looking into it, especially if you like that melodic metal. I definitely from the minute that I was listening to your song and the music video, I definitely loved it. It was great stuff. So I encourage everyone else to check it out. And also, we're going to end off the episode. We're actually going to start an episode with a song, and then we're going to finish it out with a song. So what 2 songs would you guys like to choose of your own?
I guess we could start off. What do you think?
Because we're not going to really play the whole song in the beginning. So the one at the end, that's what we're going to really feature, the full song. So you might want to choose that one differently.
Yeah, so we can do Weaknesses. All right, so Weakness is simple of her EP, Passengers.
All right.
Regret could be of our album, could be the last song for sure.
All right, so here's Regret. Thanks, guys. Have a good night, and look forward to hearing that album in 2017.